How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Mutilation YouTube channel. In today's video we'll be covering something really interesting. So we've had some good news come out of Korea recently, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say, but here we are. So stay tuned, strap in, and let's get on with the show. Right, let's get into it. So some of you might recall this image surfacing with the latest speed server that's kicked off in Korea. And for those that don't know, Korea is 1 year ahead of us in terms of seasons. So we can expect this pretty much a year from now. I remember seeing this image and getting really excited. I zoomed in, I edited the photo, all in an attempt to try and make out which characters will be getting some love in the coming seasons. But it didn't take long for this image to be revealed or demystified. So this is the image of the 5 characters that will be receiving a major update in the seasons to come. We've got the Magic Gladiator, the Agility Elf, the Illusion Knight, the Gun Crusher, and Lemuria Mage. So I took it upon myself to kind of find out the improvements and the changes that they'll be making to each character. And with the help of a few friends, we managed to track down all the information, and I'm here to share it all with you. So starting us off with probably the one I'm most excited about is the Magic Gladiator. I'm sure most of you are aware that there are 2 types of builds for Magic Gladiator, the Strength and the Energy, and they'll both be receiving buffs once this update goes live. So to touch on the Strength Magic Gladiator, he's getting increased combat power, so the combat power of the 2-handed sword is being increased, improved skill attack power, so skills within the Magic Swordsman class that have fixed values will be improved so that they are applied based on character stats. And being a Strength Magic Gladiator, I'm pretty sure it'll run off of strength stats, so that'll be very good to have. And then a nice little improvement as well is skill resource consumption, meaning that the mana and the AG you use on your skills will be improved, which could potentially lead to saving points on your 400 master tree to allocate elsewhere, which is what I'm very excited about. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you kind of know that I have a Magic Gladiator that I'm very fond of. So this year's my Magic Gladiator. I'm currently pushing him to level 1200, and he's definitely one of my favorites. Not the strongest, but by far the coolest. So when his renewal comes around, so to say that I'm excited for his buffs is an understatement. And just get out of there before I die. But as mentioned, the Energy Gladiator is also getting some much needed attention. First off, we have a new weapon for him. Up until now, all the Energy Magic Gladiators have been using the same staffs as the Soul Masters and White Wizards. But with the release of this update, he'll be getting his very own magic staff. He's also getting added magic power ability, similar to that of the White Wizard. And they're also changing the dual wield calculations so that he can do more damage than he's currently doing. That is for those that choose to run dual wield. You also have the option of running a single staff with a shield. And lastly, some skill adjustments. So the base skill attack power of some magic sword and energy skills will be increased as well. So they'll make him a lot stronger. I'm really excited about this and to see how well he's going to perform once this goes live. The next character announced is also one that I'm very fond of, and that is the Agility Elf. And finally, she's getting combat power. For the longest time, Agility Elf has been great up until level 400 or so, but then afterwards she pretty much just falls off a cliff. And due to her lack of attack power, she's always been overlooked by many people. I've always found it's only the die-hard Agility Elf enthusiasts that really grind out the levels to get her as high as they can. But even then, even at the high levels, she still struggles. However, with the addition of combat power and Gale attack power, which is something else that we're introducing for her, it'll be really interesting to see what she's capable of. They'll also be modifying the ability formula, which will more than likely be AGI stat based. And I'm wondering whether that's going to include the amount of AGI she needs per attack speed. Because currently she's got the highest AGI cost per attack speed in the game, being 22 agility points for 1 attack speed, making the higher speed gaps quite a challenge to reach. And some skill adjustments as well. The value of the 4th skill enhancement tree and the 5th ability enhancement for some skills will be modified, and the focus shot will be changed from a root skill to a normal skill. So what this means is from 800 onwards, they are playing around with some of her skills and the values and formulas of them to kind of try and make a better overall character. And Focus Shot, which has always been a root skill that you had to buy from Priest James, is now a normal skill that's just going to drop while farming. I'm also really excited about the Agility Elf because I've got one myself that I'm really fond of. However, due to her power drop off after 400, it was a character that I semi-abandoned for loads of time, and she's definitely got one of the best root skills in the game. Raining Arrow is just a beautiful skill to use. I've currently got her logged in and farming because I'm busy putting another video together for the future. So this was the perfect opportunity to showcase just how cool she is and to tell you that I'm really excited for update to go live. And now after the Agility Elf, there's another character that I know a lot of people are really excited about, and that's the Illusion Knight. And once again, he's finally getting combat power. That's probably been the biggest thing holding him back from being a really top tier viable character. So combat power abilities will be added, and they're also adjusting some of the skills as well. So the Illusion Knight blade buff effect is changed to an attack speed skill, which will be really good to help reach those upper speed gaps and increase his DPS that way. So they're also removing the charge effect from the Blade Storm skill in the 1200 tree, as I know many people have been complaining about it, as it, that it's bugged. So with this change, they'll be able to remove that, and he'll just become an absolute powerhouse. Leading us on from there, we have someone that is in serious need of some love and attention, which is the Lemuria Mage, because up until now, she's only been average at buffing, I would say below average in attack power. The only thing she was really good for at the moment is giving a White Wizard a 30% attack buff. But hopefully with this update, she'll be able to do a lot more. She's also getting her own shield. So just like most characters have got their own mastery shield, she'll be getting one of her own as well. There's also going to be a magic power ability adjustment. The magic power stat possessed by the mage class will be increased, meaning she'll be able to do more damage and hopefully be an actual viable addition to a party. Instead of just using her bond with the White Wizard to increase the White Wizard's attack, she might be actually able to contribute for a change. And some skill adjustments as well. So the full skill advancement tree, which is from 800 onwards, and the 5th ability enhancement, which is from 1200 onwards, and basic skill attack power for some skills will be increased. So this is looking really good for her, and I'm really excited to see what that might look like. One of my first parties when I first started consisted of a White Wizard in a Lemuria, but due to her ineffectiveness at buffing, healing, and attacking, I decided to scrap that party altogether and went down a different route. However, for those hardcore Lemuria fans and White Wizard fans, this is welcome news, I'm sure. And leading us to the last character receiving a buff, we've got the Gun Crusher, which is, if you ask me, one of the coolest characters in the game, and I'm so glad he's going to be able to shine. For some of the improvements that he's getting is magic gun options. So there's going to be a new minimum and maximum magic power option that's applied to the mastery weapons. They're also changing the dual wielding settings, so hopefully increasing the attack power when he's wielding two weapons. And even though he's a character with two guns, he's a magic character, and he's getting added magic power ability, much like the White Wizard already has. So that will drastically increase his DPS and make him way more of a viable character to play. And there'll also be some skill adjustments in the 4th skill tree from 800 onwards, and the 5th one as well. And some of the skills are getting attack power increases. So this is all really good news out of Korea, and I'm super excited to see what happens. I also managed to find some more information on the Korean website that I think might be worth diving into, so you guys can get a much fuller picture of what this is actually going to look like once the update lands. So first of all, we got addition and changes of combat power. So the Illusion Knight and the Agility Elf are both getting combat power added. As you can see, combat power is added to socket and mastery blade items, and then for the Illusion Knight. And then for the Fairy, it's added to socket and mastery grade bows and quivers. Much like with all the other characters, combat power will be available to you from level 380 onwards. And for the Strength Magic Gladiator, the combat power value of 200 swords has been changed, or in our case will be changed. There are also a few changes coming as well. So option values increase based on character stats. So in terms of the Agility Elf, the higher your AGI, the more gale attack power you have. The SMG will be I'm assuming more strength equals more chaos attack power. And you got the Illusion Knight with his power up as well. Skill changes. So as we mentioned, focus shot will now be a normal skill. And the additional damage setting is removed, and the skills can be picked up in the field while hunting. And the condition for actually acquiring the skill was before, as it was a root skill, you'd have to be 400 and onwards. However, now it's changed to the second job advancement, which is at level 220, the Marlin quest, and you need 700 agility to use it. Poison arrow is being removed. To be fair, I've never known anyone to use poison arrow. Blade storm of saturation. The dash effect is removed when using the skill, so for Illusion Knight, that's taken away. And the Illusion Blade attack power increase effect is removed, and it's changing to an attack speed buff instead. So we've got some character stat improvements. So the magic power characters, so for Energy Magic Gladiator, Gun Crusher, and Lemuria, and then additional changes to magic power. So EMG and Gun Crusher, a magic power option has been added, and it increases based on the energy stat. And Lemuria Mage, the magic power value has been changed. So they've also changed the stat requirements for certain skills. So Avoc Sphere for EMG is 1326 energy, Bursting Flare for Gun Crusher is 1075, and Ultimate Force for Lemuria is 1250. Those are the stats you're going to need on your character to be able to use those skills. And as mentioned, the EMG is getting his own magic staff. So if you currently have an EMG and you have a staff on him or staff or two, there will be a period where you can convert your normal staff into a magic staff for your EMG. It'll be free to do. You just go to the Chaos Goblin and convert it from a normal mastery staff to a mastery magic staff. It's worth noting that you can only go from a mastery staff and convert it into a mastery magic staff. You can't go the other way around. So once you've converted your staff into a magic staff, you can't then convert it back. So this is just an opportunity for the EMG players who are out there who are currently using mastery staffs to have them converted into a magic staff for the EMGs. And to end off a video full of good news with some bad news is that all characters that don't use an offhand mastery item, such as the SMG or the Illusion Knight, and they only use one weapon, the price of that weapon from the Root Store or Priest James is going to be 200,000 instead of the standard 100,000 Root that we're currently paying. This is, I think, in their attempt to justify the fact that all characters can have a mastery weapon and a mastery offhand, whether it be a shield or a book or whatever it may be. However, for the SMG and the Illusion Knight, there is no such option. So in order to balance things out in their minds, us players who love these characters and want to play these characters, we need to kind of shell out twice the amount only because we don't use an offhand. So my recommendation would be the following. If you're planning on playing either SMG or Illusion Knight, buy your weapons now. As far as I'm aware, to upgrade them to the next level will still be 100k Rood for the anvils. However, purchasing it from Priest James will be double the price, meaning even in Bless the price is going to increase. So even if you're only going to wait until the character launches, do yourself a favor, buy the weapon, put it in your vault, forget about it, and then when the time comes, you don't have to fork out excessive amounts of Rood or Bless to buy the item. So in closing, this update has me really excited for the future of New Online and what is to come. Probably the thing that I'm most excited to see with all of this is the diversity that upgrading these characters and buffing these characters will give people when it comes to character selection and party creation. Because up until now, most people have just been playing the same 3 or 4 OP characters, White Wizard, Dark Lord, Grow Lancer, but with this, I do feel like we're going to be able to see a wider variety of characters being enjoyed in the game. I really hope they don't mess this up. I really hope it's not just all hype, that they actually follow through and that the characters are actually viable and on par with some of the OPs that are running around at the moment. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the good news that's come out of Korea. I'm really excited about it. I know my Magic Gladiator is excited about it. I spoke to him earlier. He's stoked, and I'm also really interested to see what they're going to do with Agility Elf, because she's always been one of my favorites. Her root skills, one of the best in the game, and I would really love to be able to take that character to a much higher level, equip her well, and just see her become an important part of my gameplay. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. Go down to the comments, tell me which character you're most excited about. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, join the Discord. We'll be talking all things related to Moo. I hope to see you guys there. And with that, I'm signing off. Have a good time. See you same time next week. Have a good one. Bye.